So, Bronny James. Yeah, Bronny James. There is a pretty much kind of like damning footage of when Stephen A. Smith was talking about Bronny James with what's his name? Bill Maher from the Club Random podcast. Obviously, this is it. And I'll kind of touch into what Stephen A. Smith says probably in a different video, but I really want to focus on specifically what Bill Maher said. And he effectively implied that Bronny James has forever ruined sport. Not like he's been bad for the NBA, but he has basically implied that Bronny James. And again, when people talk about this, I don't think anyone talks about it like Bronny James, the kid himself, is the reason for this. No, it is the Lakers. It's LeBron. It's just a situation. Like, the situation is not what we want to see realistically. But anyway, yeah, it's a bit of a mad one. Before we get on to the main part of it, though, we are going to be doing, if you guys have not seen, we're doing Hoopsmas right now, which, what is that? For me, anyway, I'm uploading 10 videos every single day for the entire month of December, until Christmas anyway, and hence Hoopsmas. And if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for 7K. That's incredible. If we could hit like 7.1K, 60 subscribers by the end of the day, it's ridiculous. Our goal was only 7K, and our goal is 10K by the end of the month. But you see here, Bronny James 1 F up. Obviously, Stephen A. Smith and Bill Maher have an interesting take on LeBron James' son. And this is the really big part. I see this sort of world of nepo babies and trust fund kids when you're out. Bronny James is the one who effed it up. Because the point is, for people that didn't see it, is that sports is the last place where you can trust that it's not nepo babies. In life, everything in nepo babies is in sports. And then Bronny James after messing that up. I just realized I've been muted. Let's play this.
I guess this is, because I live in LA and I see this sort of world of nepo babies and trust fund kids when you're out.
Right.
That they work.
I loved your new rules on nepo babies, by the way. That was fantastic.
That's because that was about
you
sports.
Pound on that one. That was special. That was nice.
Thank you.
You did a great job on that.
I love that one.
Yeah.
That started here in a conversation with Bob Costas. And Bronny James is the one who fucked it up.
Yeah.
Because the point of it, for people who didn't see it, is that sports, the last place where you can have trust that it's not nepo babies, like everything else, even modeling now, nepo babies. But certainly politics always was, show business is rife with them. Everything is nepo babies except sports. You could always count on the fact that the best, the 600 players in the NBA were the best in the world, not just in America. And Bronny James is not one of the 600 best players.
Let me respect.
And then, obviously, I'm going to talk a bit about what Stephen A. Smith says, because I think some of what Stephen A. Smith says is right and that some of it's wrong, but I think there's no point in really arguing that in the same video where we're going to be making this point. And the reality of the situation is that, in general, the NBA is where you get the best players. The reality is, though, is there's some form of nepotism or favoritism that we've seen players. Let's just say there's 450 players in the NBA. I'll always say that 450 of the best 600 players in the NBA or in the world play in the NBA, because I think there is at least 30 to 40 guys that are not in the best 450 players in the world that are on rosters because maybe they're a good vet, maybe they're helping the team chemistry in a certain way, maybe they're a leader, maybe they're just kind of people like them and it'll make things easier for the team. And then that's why I'll say 600, because a lot of them you have to be borderline good enough anyway. Like, for example, Thanasis was not in the best 450 players in the world, but Thanasis, if you put Thanasis in EuroLeague, he's a damn good player. Whereas, if you put Bronny in EuroLeague, he's not. And if you look, there are a lot of players like the likes of Niko Mirotic that went back in their prime to Europe. Sergio Yul, a lot of these young players. There's a lot of good players, Mike James, in Europe that are more than good enough for the NBA, but they're doing better in Europe. The difference with Bronny is that we have now got a situation where he is not in the best 2,000 basketball players in the world. And that is and by the way, that's being generous, saying he's not in the best 2,000 basketball players in the world. Like, we have never seen a player that's not a project player. As in, we've seen some, like, absolute freakish level athletes and, like, coordinated athletic 7-footers make rosters that might be worse basketball players than Bronny James. But they're there as project players. And Bronny James is a 6'1" shooting guard who is athletic but doesn't use his athleticism, is a mediocre defender, and has very mediocre basketball IQ. So that is the reality of the situation with Bronny. But a lot of people, again, they want to say nepotism's always been there. It's never been this obvious. Like, players of Bronny's level or worse have made the G League before. Like, Zaire Wade got a shot in the G League, and he was worse than Bronny James. Like, Zaire Wade, I don't know what the hell he was doing in the G League. But, like, again, if Bronny's in the G League, no one would be saying anything. Sharif O'Neal got his shot in the G League. There have been worse players than Bronny over the years that have gotten chances in the G League. Never that have gotten on the floor in multiple NBA games. Not in multiple. And it's funny, though. My favorite thing is that people still to this day talk about Austin Rivers as some sort of nepo baby. Just because he played, 2.5 seasons for his dad? Austin Rivers was the #1 recruit in high school. Austin Rivers went to Duke where he balled out. Austin Rivers was the 10th pick in the draft. Austin Rivers averaged 15 points a game for a season. Austin Rivers started for the Denver Nuggets 2.5 seasons ago. He was drafted in 2012. He lasted 10 years in the NBA. There is absolutely no way people are making that comparison. But it shows, again, people don't really watch basketball when they say stuff. I genuinely had a comment yesterday saying Jokic is an MVP. He's not even the best player on his team. Jamal Murray's better than him. Jamal Murray's better, and for most of the season, Aaron Gordon's been the best player on the Nuggets. And I'm like, Aaron Gordon's been injured the last month. What are you talking about? And it's like, I can guarantee no one watched Austin Rivers if you're making that statement. But the reality is it is the truth. It is the objective truth that he is in the league, he is the NBA's first nepo baby. Because, again, you can say there are some players that may or may not have deserved to make in the league. But every NBA nepo baby, outside of, who was the dude that was like Steph Curry's? Outside of maybe, I don't know who could... Is J.R. Smith's brother more of a nepo baby than Bronny? But J.R. Smith's brother was probably better. I don't know. This has been like one of the worst cases. And because it's the most high profile case of it as well. And is he the first NBA nepo baby? No. Is he the most prominent one? Yeah. And is it a bad look on him himself? I don't think it is. Like, I don't think it's that a bad look on Bronny James. Bronny James is just listening to the Lakers, he's listening to his advisors, and he's listening to his dad. I will blame everyone in this situation other than Bronny James. And I mean that. I think the whole situation's an absolute joke. I think the whole situation's a shambles. But I'll blame everybody in the situation other than the kid himself. Because again, he's a 19-year-old. So, yeah. That is pretty much it. So, anyway, that's the video. What do you guys think? I don't really know how I feel about what was said, and it's the truth anyway. It's going to be very, very hard for anyone undeserving to make a roster in the NBA anymore. And I feel bad for Thanasis getting called up and everything. Thanasis Antetokounmpo, I'm not joking when I say this. He was an NBA player before Giannis. People talking about Thanasis Antetokounmpo like the man can't dribble a basketball. He was a G League all-defensive team. He was like one of the best players in the Greek League, was a good EuroLeague player, and was literally drafted into the NBA when Giannis was averaging single digits. Played got NBA minutes when Giannis was still averaging single-digit points. Oh, I don't know. But anyway, that is a video. It is mad that Bronny James has effectively been blamed, though, here for completely ruining sport. Not just the NBA, ruining sport. So anyway, see you guys.